Okay, fine. So probably what I'll be doing is I'll be quickly sharing the status or the information about what is done. I'll be sharing a YouTube video link, which will be in a normal Urdu language. I can't say Urdu, Hindi, whatever you say, because I'm not good at that. Probably this is something what we have shared with our the team of Ulma regarding the overview of the team. So we have a group, probably the WhatsApp group where we have around 7 to 10, probably the local scholars, a little bit local scholars from around uh, India. Probably means they are based in Hyderabad right now, but probably they are from different regions. So we are in discussion. We have a separate WhatsApp group for them where we'll be going through that. So probably once you go through with the video, then we'll get a clear idea what will be the plan. So I'll be sharing that video. I think that will be okay. So because of this, again, because of this lockdown, as I said, currently we could not hold a get together meeting on discussing the things. So we just given a brief of what will be. So the brief is something like this, like we have something like IT team, which is something the group what we are going to maintain, and then we have scholar team probably, and the main focus as we'll be doing the proper communication channel is again initially we'll be using WhatsApp, and again the main program is like the Dawa program, and this will be done as I said the basic. This is be done based on non-Muslims, probably a separate kind of uh, topic for non-Muslims, like 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 the Sirat of our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, or introducing the Creator, the Allah, probably those kind of things. And for Muslims again who are a little bit far away from Deen, probably will that will be focused on specific topics again. Uh, so what we'll be doing is, so the first thing will once we discuss with an ulma team, the scholar team will be giving. Let's say there are 4 or 5 people who are, let's say, interested. Will be selecting one specific topic and will be giving a specific topic, and probably they will be collecting the information on that, probably the recorded the hadith or the from a specific verse in the Quran, and also if possible they will be also, so probably this information will be creating the images in the form of Photoshop. Probably that's something we have to plan again. Um Again, how that goes, because there are slight changes initially when we discuss, so I'm just giving you the current status right now. And also there will be some audio recordings they will be doing on that specific topic again. Okay, so this is something what we are planning. Okay, so on that audio recordings again we'll be using Filmora software to again do some background editing with that. Now this part is something what they do. Now there are two options in this. Now two option is like especially the main issue right now we have faced is the lack of a little bit, lack of support from our IT team, because they are more busy, in IT mostly maybe. So what we have planned is we'll be planning two options here. Currently, what we have thought is this part is a big part actually, because collecting the information, of course, they will do Hadith, whatever the references they will be doing, but the background work like creating the images by using Photoshop or editing using Filmora, this is a little bit time consuming part. This takes a little bit more time, and especially for us who are working in IT field, this is something taking out time, maybe 2 to 3 hours per day. Also, I think it's per week. Also, it's something difficult, and you need to a little bit more focus on that. So what we'll be doing is we'll try to do the promotions, even we'll train. So these three things like creating the images topic wise, and video editing, and promotions on the Facebook as well as the Twitter options. This part, what we are thinking is again I didn't discuss. This is something what I have just thought. because normally every scholar they either have their own students, probably in the local madrasas where they do training. That is one option. Or they, if they are a specific imam of a specific masajid, let's say, there also they can build up a small team, either their students or maybe the local team, just like a local team inside your masajid where you have 4 or 5 people. Now, what we can do is we can provide the required specific things over there. Like to do this, the requirements are like you need to have PC with some internet connection, and then some converter, some audio digital to audio converter. So this is one setup. It is like a permanent setup, initial investment kind of thing, which we can inshallah sponsor that. That's not an issue. So this is one thing required. And the second thing is they required some training. Of course, they need to build a team, of course. And especially the main advantage here is if you take, just like recently I have visited specific madrasas recently in a specific location where it's actually a girls' madrasa. And most of the girls who are maybe they are 10th or 12th or maybe graduates also there, like they are also doing some kind of 1 year 2 years courses generally. Maybe they, like before the marriage generally the girls get trained on this. Or even the, if you take boys mothers as well, you will have students from ranging from 15 to 20 years normally. So the main issue over there is they will be trained on mostly Islamic studies. That is the main focus. And apart from that, if you take any other subjects, little bit nil. Like if you take in current scenarios, the computer skills or the internet skills are something everyone should know in order to use the technology. That's what I feel. And apart from that, you also need to have some idea about some kind of journalism kind of thing. Not exactly we are going to do journalism here, but what exactly happening around, you need to have the information. Especially if when I speak to these scholars, like what currently the situation happening, unless they hear from any kind of WhatsApp message, or it's very difficult for them to at least identify whether it is correct or not. So every student, like as we are associated with an IT, because many people don't know the actual concept of journalism or actual to figure out the things what is going around so that they can analyze the things. Of course, most of the educated, if you are educated in a normal schools, as you see many things happening around, you automatically learn. But especially for the Islamic associated people, this is a little bit far. That's what some people suggested. When you are doing this is also something required. Apart from that, of course, the normal studies like maybe the basic math skills or some English skills, if possible. At least they can understand. At least they can read Roman Urdu kind of thing, or some English they can understand at least by reading or by listening. Some part of that. Additionally, you can add on. There are plenty of things you can add on, but at the same time, this should not distract the actual base core. This is actually the core training what they do. These are like add-ons. Now, what is the benefit? The benefit is simple. If they have these skills, probably these skills can be used again to our main object. What is the objective here? This is linked here. Okay, so something we can link this part here. You can say this way. So it can be linked here from here to here again, because they are day and night. Let's say a simple example. Let's say we can like what I thought is like, let's say there is a student, and if any madrasa, let's say if any school, so better we use Islamic school kind of thing. So if any Islamic school or any student, he will be spending, let's say, 6 to 8 hours per day. Of course, most of the madrasas they have the local accommodation, which means they will be spending more time. In that, let's say if they are spending 6 hours on learning the actual core topics, and if they can take out 2 to 3 hours of time on this, they can do more task or more outcome will come from here, which because they are core dedicated team actually. Exactly, because let's say if you and I have to do something on this. Let's say if I say, well, let's say I'll take a topic and then I'll collect the information, but again, uh, it's a little bit difficult for us especially. Now what we can do is we can train them, we can make them ready. That's something we can do. But especially working on completely on this thing is something not possible, especially what I see from my side and maybe from your side as well, and maybe the other participants also thinking the same way, the group. So we can lead them in this way. So two things: one is we can support them financially to have the setup, and we can support them technically. That is the next thing. Technically we can use some kind of training. We can do that, and we can again technically we can support, and later on we'll be supporting them technically in the future as well. Like we'll be guiding them as well. We can say we can also guide them how to properly use the technology and how to use the many things like fundraising option is also there, because if this happens, it will automatically again lead to fundraising, because nowadays everything is associated with finance. So if you think about, if you are planning anything, the everything comes is actually linked with your kind of currency, we can say, or money. Everything is linked with that. So most of the things everyone, because what I see is everything stops, the barrier will be like the financial limits, because once you start planning these things and once you face the financial hurdle, probably that is one of the problem. So, and this is just like one time setup, if you do these things every place, these things. Okay, so I think I have clarified. Let's move on with a quick review. And if you have any questions, just let me quickly pause the video and get back to the questions. Again, I'll come overview on this again. Okay, so probably I'll just come back to the previous plan as you have raised a question on this. Probably we'll be working on distributed option. Distributed option is just like, let's say this is our some XYZ trust, what we are working. So we'll be initially doing the work from individual, but once we set up a local, so every ulma, what we'll be doing is we'll be creating every scholar who are actually approaching in a proper way or doing the things in a proper way. So what we'll be doing is we'll be create one a small trust with their, which will be under them, or it can be under any specific masajid, and or it can be under a specific madrasa. So like that, we'll be building a trust. So similar way, there will be individual like this, and each and every individual team will have their own local governed local kind of trust setup, and then they will be doing their own local work, of course, on the social media, and they will be building their own fundraising plan. So probably again, this fundraising plan they can help in building some more new teams. Like let's say their students again takes them forward to the next level, or someone joins. That's how it goes. So this is more like kind of distributed kind of thing, not centralized. Now we are technical people, so probably we know the difference between distributed and centralized. Instead of everything centralized, so we are not decentralizing these things. So and again, finally, let's say inshallah after 10 years, 15 years, when everything grows, so we're working from multiple places, and it's not possible. There are hundreds of these things. It's very difficult, probably to trace or to do anything to the specific organization. So when you grow bigger, then again you'll face a lot of challenges as well later on. So that's something what we'll be focusing
Sir,
on.
actually, I want to tell you one thing more
Yeah, you
that
can
what
add.
come in my mind.
Yeah.
Sir, when we are
Okay. So as per your question, we can do some small things. See, this is actually the Alert
sir,
Plus
your voice
website.
is not coming properly, sir. It's from very far.
Now it's okay. Now, if you check this Al site, probably we have planned things like IT training. So this is something IT training is something we'll be doing for undergraduates, like basic computer skills or software development skills or any other trainings. We'll try to associate our team. Let's say we have few technical people who are working on software development. We'll do some sessions with them, probably online sessions. And if we can figure out some computer skills team, we can do that as well. Now, this is something we plan region wise, but we'll try to make it online now. Of course, job skills, which include self-employment skills, like if you check this, whatever the things I have you have discussed, this all comes in this slide. And now this is especially for the people who are less we can say less educated and not not highly educated. We can say probably like 10th standard or maybe self-employed or widows. Now these are like all comes in the social service. So the social service is only possible when you, uh, of course, this is something what initially what I have planned. But the problem is if you are just doing a social service, of course that will definitely benefit you here and after. But at the same time, you'd also be you have to do this as well. That's what I realized as I started doing this. So simply social service, and if you are getting, let's say if I'm deviated from the actual path, the actual path is like there are many social services working at a high level, and most of them are like deviated from the actual path. So I don't, so later on I realized that you should not get deviated. So we'll be doing both Dawa as well as the social service. So we'll be planning this parallelly. But as I said, the initial focus will be on this. Probably the first 4 5 months, 6 months, or 1 year, and slowly we're also doing social service. Like I said, we are in the during the lockdown time we did some alhamdulillah good part, major part. Most of things are not shared. Probably I don't want to share, but few things are shared. Only few part is already only shared. But whatever is shared, it's almost we did more than I think. Even I cannot say that number as well.
Okay.
Okay, so let
Sir,
me
one
just
more thing.
yeah,
This
yeah,
tomorrow or day after tomorrow, when I transfer the fund, I will send you the
yeah,
photo also.
yeah. Please share the screenshot once you do that. Okay,
Okay, sir.
yeah, sure. Okay, so let me quickly summarize. As I said, this is something what the current status is. Like I said, we'll be having IT team and the scholar team, and most likely as an IT team will be helping out to build these things. Like, of course, this part is something initially you may have to do. Initially, probably we should know before we train, right? So initially we'll be doing this work, and then we'll be again making the individual teams to know about that. Like I said, these are the things. So every mothers or the specific masajid or specific ulma build their own team, and they will have their own channel. They will have their own platform. They will have their own trust. We are trying to set up that way because we need to make this core should be stronger. Because if we do everything centralized, the problem is centralized will be stronger. These people will be same as it is again. They are more dependent on us again for everything. That should not be the case. Just like everyone should have their own kind of business, or everyone has their own skill set. This is something we'll be planning. So don't know when we'll be discussing these things. I schedule online meeting with them, but because of the again the technology barrier is there, they could not join online, or they are not much serious to join online. So maybe I'll try one more time. Okay. Now these are the things what they will be trained. Okay. Initially, this is the plan. So we'll be trying to discuss more on these things tomorrow. If you have anything you'd like to add, probably we'll add that. So as you know, this month lockdown, probably we'll try to spend half an hour at least on this, maybe till Ramadan month. After that, again, we'll go week by week again.
We start with them.
Yeah, that's what. As per your question, like what about the Facebook promotion? See, we did few things already. We have created a Facebook accounts. Probably I created one more account a little bit. Uh, we can use this account, and then you can start the groups also we have joined. That's something we did. And
Mm-hmm.
apart from that, now the next part is like posting or sharing this in the groups.
Yes.
Now this part is something we have to do. So like now what we can do is as individual, because now we didn't come to the core topic wise, because still this part is pending. This will take a
Yes.
little bit time, maybe 1 or 2 months
Mm-hmm.
probably, to come up with a proper organized way. Meantime, what we can do is whatever the Islamic information you are going to collect, or whatever you learn on the same day, let's say the same information, you can put it in your own way. Probably Photoshop we can do. I'll show you some basic skills on this Photoshop probably in the next coming days. Or whatever
Mm-hmm.
the audio lecture you have, you can just do some kind of basic editing, and you can
Okay.
start doing, or you can just use pre images, like whatever you have pre images. You'll
Mm.
find some on the internet, or you'll find someone shared on the WhatsApp group. Probably those also you can use them. If you
Mm-hmm.
cannot make it time, you can share this, because the main thing is in the groups there will be hundreds of groups, and
Mm-hmm.
on the average, if you take even 1,000 on each group, it goes
Mm.
easily like 10,000, 1 lakh, probably something around 1 lakh people minimum,
Okay.
I'm saying. And in that, if there are 10% at least watching that, it takes you again to 10,000 easily. So 10,000 people reaching, and maybe, out of 10,000 again, maybe 1,000 are thinking, and maybe if one is changing, that your job is done, means
Yes.
you will get the reward, the best reward, inshallah.
Sure.
So our focus will be on that. So this is something we'll do. So we'll try to immediately push these things on this part.
Mm.
Okay. So how to do this? Probably I'll be sharing in the coming days, so that the people who are already there, and also I'll share this video on the YouTube link. Of course, only the link, not a public video. But whoever is having the link, they can go through with this video. Probably whoever did not attend the session, they can at least go through with that and come up with things. Again, one more last thing I'll try to add here is, again, in the group, whatever we are right now, probably only admins can post, which means now I'm the only admin left over there. I remove the other admins as well. And if there is anything you want to share, probably you can pass on to me,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll be sharing this back to the group, because we
Okay.
don't
That
want
is good.
any kind of broadcast kind of thing. like
Yes.
like one of our members shared that Akida test, the question and answer test. Probably that is something required. Of course, it is circulating in the WhatsApp group as well.
Yes.
Maybe because if you are in the already existing Muslim groups, you may have received that. So you can pass on to me, which will be benefited. If the group team gets benefited with that, you can pass on to me that if you can share this, if you think, then probably I'll just look into that. And if I feel that will pass on, probably I'll
Yes.
pass on to the group as well. Because whatever we are communicating in the group, it should be specific on what our objective.
Sure.
Okay, that's something I did, because we people are not, what should I say, they are not serious or not educated. I don't have any terms to describe exactly for the people who are using that as another broadcast group. There are plenty of broadcast groups already. I think in
Yeah.
my phone I have more than 40, 50 groups I'm maintaining. So there's no point in again adding one more group for that. Okay.
Yes.
So this is one more thing I'll add. Of course, it is also recorded, so other participants will come to know. Okay,
Yes.
fine. We'll keep these things. Once we go through with the ulma part, I'll come back to this. But meantime, but I just want you to let you know the status, because this is something what running in the back end in my mind, as well as the strategy I'd like to share with you, so that you're also on the same path. And of course, meantime, what we'll be doing is we'll just go ahead with this thing, because later on when we build a team of any team, we are our job is to train them. Initially, we'll be working on this, but this is something what we are not doing regular basis. You may do for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, maybe 6 months, but after that, your job is to make a team who will be doing this job. That will
Okay.
be more effective again. Okay, so every area will try to focus on building the team from all the sides. But initially, I'll push these things. Tomorrow I'll try to focus on Photoshop part. It's simple, Photoshop tool. I'll show you the simple tricks what I use for my normal marketing, and also you'll get to learn few things as well. Okay, fine. So
Sure.
fine. We'll stop here for today. Tomorrow we'll continue again. Okay.